Okay, so we are going to dive into what makes a good, quality, true friend and what maybe isn't, and we need to kind of emotionally kind of protect ourselves from them or maybe walk away from them. And we know that friends are crucial for so many different things. They help with our social well-being and our mental health, and that gives us that connection with other people, and it builds up our self-confidence and our sense of belonging, and it feels so good to be connected. So how do we start talking about friendship? Because being a friend, being a good friend, is a way of being kind, right? We've talked about friendly, that's a different kind of being kind. Being a good friend is a way of being kind. So what are some things that we can do with our students to set them up so they know how to act as a kind friend? And then we're going to go into how to really help students decide who those friends are. So the first thing, as always, we talk about friendship. What is a good friend? And we can think about what we love as what we love in our friends. What qualities do we look for? And so we have the discussion starters that I shared with you. I think all the blue ones are about friendship. And so you can be specifically talking about friendship. We also have that Skittles game that has a whole thing just specifically about friendship. And then again, as teachers, as we're using books and relationships in our stories, the characters of our stories, we can talk about the friendship. My son is a reluctant reader, and so he got kind of hooked on the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series, which I am not a fan of, but I am a fan of him reading, so I had to let it go. And there was one part I was reading, and the main character was so cruel to his friend. So incredibly cruel, lied, let him take the fall for it. It was awful. It was an awful situation. But we used it as a teachable moment to talk about the friendship and the relationship. Is he being a good friend? Why? Why or why not? How could he have been a better friend? Is this somebody that you would want to be friends with? How do you know that you wouldn't want to be friends with him in real life? Is this how friends treat each other? So we're using these conversation starters in our stories that we're already reading about characters in our language arts units, whatever we're reading, or in our free reading, or in our small group whatever books we're reading. So we can talk about friendship. We can remind students that we follow the golden rule, treat people the way you want to be treated, and our 2 classroom rules: be kind and follow directions. So the be kind part is about being a good friend. When you are kind to other people, that is one way that we show that we are a good friend. And again, being mad without being mean about it. So friends can get mad at each other, letting them know friends can get mad. I have been mad at my friends and they have been mad at me, but we have not ever been mean about it. And we're never going to then escalate it and retaliate and make it much worse. We can apologize, we can make amends, we can let them know that we're frustrated or sad or disappointed in what they did, ask them not to do it again, and then we can move forward. And so then friends use the think method a lot because we don't want to say something unintentionally to hurt a friend, right? My daughter said, I'm better at soccer than you. And that really hurt her friend's feelings. A good friend then would have to go through it and be like, oh, it might be true. I might be better, but is that helpful? Is it necessary to tell her that I'm better or that I think I'm better? Is that kind to tell her? No, it's not. So good friends really focus on making sure that they're mindful of their friends' feelings. They're not going to hurt them on accident by saying something that's thoughtless. And so going through the think method before they say it is a really kind thing to do, but it's also an important part of friendship. And again, being that funny without being mean. If you're always putting your friend down or your friend is always the brunt of the joke, your friend is not going to want to spend time with you. And we have a really cool resource for you called our Cause and Effect for Kindness and for Friendship. And we can use this with our students to kind of help them, guide them into deciding, like, when one thing happens, when I am kind, when I take turns, when I listen, when I am generous, when I am thoughtful, then people want to be with me. Then they want to spend time with me. They want to be my friend. They want to play with me. They want to hang out with me. But on the opposite side, if I am unkind or I tease or I'm mean or I don't listen or I'm rude or I have those little sarcastic comebacks, well then, cause and effect, then people don't want to spend time with me. They don't want to play with me. They don't want to invite me over. They don't want to be my friend. I'm not being a good friend. So the cause and effect, we can teach our students this to help them understand what really works and what doesn't work in a friendship, how to build that friendship up. So good friends also listen to stop and no. So if a friend says stop it, you have to stop. If a friend says no, it's no. And that's true for everybody, but it's especially true for friends. If you're screwing around or wrestling, it can escalate really fast. So if your friend says stop, that's the end of the game. You have to move on. Good friends help each other. That's kind of an obvious kindness thing, but they help each other. They include each other. They want to invite each other over. They cheer each other up and they cheer each other on. So they're consoling each other, but they're also encouraging each other. And we have activities that you can do with your students to help them with that compliments, to cheer each other on. We have cheer on a friend. We have our compliment suns and our friendship flower crafts, like cutesy little fun things to help build that up for our students. Good friends appreciate and celebrate each other's differences. They love that they're different. And we teach our students that friends don't have to be the same. Friends don't have to like the same things and want to do the same things, and that's okay. It's helpful when they have similar interests, right? If one only wants to spend time outside and one only wants to spend time inside, that's a tricky hangout situation. That's a tricky play date. But when they both want to go to kickball, and that's fine, but they don't both love kickball, and they take turns, and then the next day they do what the other friend wants, then that's a recipe for a great friendship when they're taking turns with it. So they don't have to like the same things. They can have these differences about them. That's fantastic. They don't have to be both girls or both boys to be friends. Girls and boys can be friends. Like, we can explain this to our students that they don't have to be the exact same in order to be friends. And usually like attracts like, so they tend to gravitate towards each other, that they have similar interests anyways. And then we share with our students not to be a fair weather friend. And this is where we're gonna go into what makes a good friend and what is a friend that's only sometimes wanting to be with you, sometimes not wanting to be with you. And again, we talk about friends don't have to always be together. Friends don't have to always want to play together. You can still be friends and not play together, and that's okay too. So there's like varying levels, and I'm gonna get into all of that because that's nuanced stuff for our students as they're trying to figure, oh, he doesn't want to play with me, he's not my friend anymore. No, he's still your friend. He's gonna go play this and you're gonna go play this. We can have different types of friends, different kinds of friends. Sometimes friends can go do different things, and that's fantastic, and then they make their way back together. And then really good friends stand up for you even if you're not there. They stand up for you if you are there. They stand up for you if you're not there. So they're not talking behind your back. And this is more for the older students, our 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, and then our secondary students. They don't say snide comments even when you're not there. They are going to stand up for you. If somebody says something, they're going to say, oh, you need to stop. You're talking about my friend. So we can give them those strategies. We don't talk poorly about other people. She's not even here to defend herself. You need to stop. So that's what basically, in a gist, all of those things that we've been talking about, everything, that's all what makes a good friend. And we're teaching our students these strategies, these skills all the time through our social emotional learning curriculum. And then we can just say, and this is what makes a good friend. When we do this, this is what draws people to us, where they want to be friends with us, because we are kind, we are helpful, we are thoughtful, we are considerate, we are generous, we are mindful of other people's feelings. We don't hurt people on purpose, right? We have control of our big emotions so we don't explode on a friend. Okay, so now how do we help our kids decide who are those good friends and who's really not such a great friend? And our students are oftentimes drawn to those kids who are not the kindest to them. It's happened to my daughter, it's happened to my son. I've watched tons of my students do this, where they're just drawn to that social group because they're really wanting to be a part of it. Or there's one kid in there they really want to be friends with. And so then they have to kind of take all the junky stuff with it, right? They have to take the meanness and the cruelty or the put downs or the teases in order to play with that one kiddo. Or they love basketball so much that they're willing to play basketball with kids who are mean to them just so they can play basketball. But it sets them up for not feeling great about themselves, a decrease in their confidence, and it just doesn't feel great. So we have to guide our students to deciding what makes a good friend and what doesn't. And we could tell them all day, but when we can guide them to just figure it out for themselves, we know this, right? As educators, when they discover it themselves, when they think for themselves, we show them how to maybe decide, but then we let them decide, we let them figure it out and come to conclusions. It's so powerful. So I have a list that you can share with your students. So it is our what is a good and true friend, and I'm going to share this with you. And this is a checklist that your students can go through when they're deciding for themselves one relationship or a group of kids in a relationship. So a good true friend over here, and then fair weather friends or fake friends are over here. So a good friend likes you for who you are and makes you feel good about yourself, right? But a fair weather friend maybe likes only parts of you or makes you not feel so great about yourself. A great friend, a true friend, cheers you on and wants you to win. A fair weather friend or fake friend, they might cheer you on when you're on the same team, but they're maybe not going to cheer you on when you're competing against them or when you are doing better than them. A good, true, real friend includes you and makes sure there's room for you. Oh, come sit over here. Oh, they save you a seat, right? They remember you. They remember to save space for you. They want you there. But a fair weather friend or a fake friend, they might exclude you, or they don't think to include you. They don't think to remember to invite you in. So there's a whole list to go through so they can decide for themselves. And then a reminder that they deserve those true, good friends. We also have other things that can support it. So we have treasured friends. And so these are all the things, these are the gold. Treasured friends, what treasured friends do and what treasured friends don't. And I also have that resource for you. And the last thing that we really teach our students about friendship, and we can explicitly teach this, is the bullseye concept, and how outside and going in, there's going to be like we're shooting for finding a couple different friends at each level. And the one in that middle, that bullseye friendship, that's that best friend who loves you for who you are. They always remember to include you. They want you. They're the ones who are like, come spend time with me, come have a sleepover, come be my best friend. That is your bullseye friend, right? And those are really hard to find. And not everybody is going to fit in that little tiny circle. And then as you go out, different types of friendships. And so here's the explanation of it. And this is what we go through with our students. So that bullseye friendship, those are like one or two people. They're the closest to you. You can tell them everything and they will keep your information to themselves. They're not going to tell everybody. And those are the hardest kind of friends to find. And then the next level, maybe those are like 1 to 10 people. Those are like, that's in your group. You enjoy spending time with them. They know who you are, they see you, they like you for who you are, you feel good when you're together with them, right? And then you expand it out to the next group, and maybe these are the people that you play with and hang out with, and you enjoy playing together, and it just keeps on going. And there's different types of friends. That old sign, I'm a Girl Scout, make new friends, keep the old. Some are silver and some are gold. So understanding that not everybody has to be a gold friend. And we have to explain this to our students. Not everybody's gonna be that best friend that you should tell everything to. Some friends are gonna be silver friends where you spend time with them and you hang out with them and it's great. And sometimes you go to their birthday parties, or you meet up at the park after school, or you're playing with them at recess, or you sit with them at lunch sometimes. And that's great. You don't want to ignore your silver friends. But then we also have the gold friends, and those are the treasured friends that really love us and see us for who we are. And they like spending time with us, and we feel good. We feel confident. We feel like we can be us. We don't have to change who we are to be friends with them. So now if your students are really struggling and their friendship group is not so great, if they're new to the school and they don't know who to be friends with, or they've realized that the people that they've been spending time with, it's not really best for their mental health, then they need to find new friends. And we can help our students meet new friends. And I have a role-playing sheet for you, so you can specifically teach students strategies how to meet new friends, to get out of that little circle of those mean kids, right? That negative peer pressure, and go find friends who are going to like them for who they are. So there's different ways. Of course, you can meet somebody, you can ask to join in, you can include them to come to you, you can find a similarity, you can be vulnerable and open, you can ask about them, or you can give them a compliment. And there's different role-playing ideas, and this takes practice. So you can set your kids up in small groups and say, we're gonna pretend we don't know each other, and we're going to try asking to join in. And it's role-playing, so you're practicing. When we're giving them these words, these phrases, these strategies, then they're gonna figure out which one works for them. Maybe they are not ready to be vulnerable, they are not ready to give a compliment, or they're not ready to ask to join in, but they can look for a similarity, and that's what they feel comfortable with. And so they're gonna try to do this. So then you're practicing, you're giving them those skills, you're giving them those tools and resources. So when you say to them, go deal with it, then they have the skills to go deal with it, to go find a new friend. And being able to walk into a room and not know anybody and be that new person, that new kid, and be able to find somebody that you can connect with, that is a huge life skill. So many adults do not have this skill. And then all of that is building up their confidence, making them feel safe at school, making them feel welcomed at school, so then they come into your classroom ready to learn. Okay, in the next video, we are gonna dive into inclusion, includers, being an includer, what that means, what that looks like, why it is essential to teach this to our students, and how to teach it in a fun way. I'll see you in there.